Just last week, on July 28th, the U.S. Commerce Department once again expanded its infamous entity list, blacklisting another dozen Chinese AI and advanced materials companies in a move celebrated by Washington's hawks. The official reason, as always, was an ambiguous threat to national security. But to anyone watching the global chessboard closely, this move no longer signals strength. It reeks of desperation. It is the predictable, tired reaction of a declining power that has run out of new ideas and is left pulling the only lever it has left, a lever that is now visibly broken. While Washington is consumed with adding more names to a blacklist, a tactic that has now demonstrably failed to halt China's progress, the real story, the one that truly matters for the future of global power, is happening thousands of miles away. This isn't about a blacklist anymore. It's about a birth announcement. Because while America was sharpening its pen to write new sanctions, China was busy launching the 21st century's Sputnik Moment. In 1957, the world was shaken by a faint, pulsing beep coming from low Earth orbit. It was the sound of Sputnik 1, a tiny Soviet satellite that shattered America's deeply held belief in its own technological supremacy. That singular moment triggered a national crisis of confidence and the birth of the space race. 58 years later, a new kind of Sputnik moment is unfolding. Just last month, in July 2025, tech analysts confirmed the once unthinkable. China's top chipmaker, SMIC, is now in pilot production of its 5-nanometer class node, a feat achieved entirely without Western technology. This comes on the heels of Huawei, in partnership with China Mobile, successfully launching another pair of low Earth orbit satellites, demonstrating record-breaking 6G connectivity speeds and announcing commercial trials for early 2026, years ahead of any Western competitor. This is not a distant threat. It is a present-day reality. While the U.S. Commerce Department was busy announcing yet another round of reactive sanctions, the very technology they sought to suppress was already leaping a generation ahead. This is the 21st century's Sputnik Moment. It is a piercing signal that the era of uncontested Western technological dominance is over. The race for the future is on, and the West has just been lapped. How did this happen? How did Washington, armed with the full might of its global sanctions regime, not only fail to stop this but seemingly accelerate it? The answer is a story of strategic miscalculation, imperial hubris, and the success of a long-term vision that the West refused to take seriously. This breakthrough was not a miracle. It was the predictable result of a deliberate, decade-long national strategy colliding with Washington's arrogance. For years, while the West celebrated its market-driven innovation, China was quietly executing its grand industrial plans, like Made in China 2025. This wasn't just an economic policy. It was a national project to break free from what Beijing perceived as a technological prison, where America held all the keys. The American sanctions, intended as a knockout punch, instead acted as a crucible. They were an act of imperial overreach, an attempt by the reigning hegemon to pull up the ladder and deny a rising power its place. But instead of crippling China, the blockade burned away its lingering reliance on foreign technology and forged a hardened, independent innovation engine. Washington thought it was laying a siege. In reality, it was just triggering the final, most aggressive phase of a plan that was already in motion. The central mystery that baffled Western analysts was how China could produce 5-nanometer chips without access to the world's most advanced equipment, ASML's extreme ultraviolet lithography machines. The answer lies in a different philosophy of innovation. Rather than chasing the single magic bullet of EUV, SMIC invested heavily in perfecting older deep ultraviolet lithography, using complex multi-patterning techniques. Recent reports from industry analysts at SemiAnalysis confirm that SMIC's 5-nanometers process now has a yield rate surpassing 50%, a critical threshold for commercial viability. While this process is estimated to be 40 to 50% more expensive per wafer than TSMC's EUV equivalent, Beijing is aggressively subsidizing this sovereignty premium through massive state-backed R&D grants. Western firms saw a commercially unviable path. China pursued it as a strategically essential one. It was a triumph of national will over market logic. And that sovereign technology is now defining the future through 6G. This isn't just a faster version of 5G. It is a quantum leap in connectivity, promising speeds over 100 times faster, near-zero latency, and AI-driven networks that can manage and repair themselves in real time. And make no mistake, The battle for 6G standards is the ultimate prize in this great power competition. This is not merely about collecting patent royalties. It is about embedding your nation's industrial philosophy, your data protocols, and your vision for society into the very nervous system of the 21st century. China's massive accumulation of 6G patents, already over 20% of the global total, is a direct assault on the established Western-led order. A recent report from the European Telecommunications Standards Institute noted with alarm that a significant portion of these Chinese patents are foundational, focusing on core network architecture, terahertz communication, and AI-native network integration. This is distinct from simply holding patents for applications. It means China is targeting the constitution of 6G, not just its subsequent laws. This patent lead gives Huawei significant leverage in the 3GPP standards body meetings, allowing it to steer the global conversation and define the technological terrain upon which all others must compete. Whoever writes the 6G standard writes the rules for the future of global commerce, the development of autonomous AI, and the very concept of digital sovereignty. As the reality of this Sputnik moment sinks in, a new geopolitical map is being drawn. A frantic pressure campaign has emanated from Washington, urging its allies in Europe and Asia to preemptively ban Huawei's 6G infrastructure. But the world has changed. The latest G7 summit in June ended with a visibly fractured statement on technology, as nations like Germany and France resisted specific US-led language that would lock them out of Chinese tech, signaling a major crack in the Western alliance. A new geopolitical reality is taking shape, fracturing the globe along technological lines and creating what can only be described as a digital iron curtain. On one side, the United States and its most loyal allies attempt to build a closed, defensive, and expensive technological bloc. But on the other side, a new world is emerging. China, empowered by its breakthroughs, is now offering its superior and more affordable 6G infrastructure as a key component of its foreign policy. This is the new digital Silk Road, and it's being eagerly embraced. The BRICS Plus expansion now includes nations that are using China's new development bank to fund digital infrastructure projects, creating a concrete financial and political alternative to the Western-led system. We are not just witnessing the fragmentation of the internet. We are witnessing the birth of two parallel, competing techno-political blocs. This is a battle of competing visions for the future of human society. Huawei's 6G infrastructure has the potential to turn entire cities into interconnected, AI-driven digital organisms, where everything from transportation to hospitals functions as a single, hyper-efficient network. China is already running pilot projects in cities like Shenzhen, demonstrating a future of optimized energy grids, autonomous traffic control, and real-time public health monitoring. This is the compelling, utopian vision that China is now selling to the world, a vision of state-guided, hyper-efficient modernity, powered by its own technology. The conclusion is inescapable. The era of uncontested, unipolar American technological dominance is definitively over. The strategy of containment through sanctions has not only failed, it has backfired spectacularly, creating the very self-sufficient rival it was designed to prevent. The Sputnik moment has happened. The West has been shocked into the realization that it is no longer the sole master of the technological universe. So the evidence is now irrefutable. A new global power has not only caught up, but, in the defining technology of the next generation, has surpassed its rival. The era of asking for permission from Washington is over. The era of American technological gatekeeping, the very foundation of its modern empire, has ended. This is no longer about competition. It is about displacement. The world is being forced to choose, and the momentum is clear. So the final question is not for the politicians in Washington. It is for you. As this new digital iron curtain descends, which side of it do you want to be on? The side clinging to a past model of dominance, defined by sanctions and control? Or the side building a new, alternative future, defined by a different vision of progress? Is this a terrifying new era of division, or is it a long overdue and necessary correction in global power? Let me know your unfiltered thoughts in the comments below.